Hi, Mr. Smith. How are you today?
I'm good.
I understand you've had some recent issues with your classmates making assumptions about you.
Yes, people look at my skin as my defining feature.
Your skin is not what defines your character or your values.
No, people assume that I am into hip hop or in a gang because I am a black man.
That would be frustrating to have people make assumptions about your likes and activities. Are there certain moments that you have felt judged or stereotyped?
It is, and it feels like everyone does it. It's not just people of different races that make assumptions about me. Yes, I have experienced a moment of being stereotyped. At work, one of my coworkers always yells out, West Side, and throws up a gang sign because he assumes that I'm a gang or have knowledge of gangs.
You feel judged by people of other races and your own.
Yes. People who are of other races assume I am a gang member, and people of my race say I'm not black enough because I don't listen to rap.
So you feel stereotyped by everyone.
Yes.
How would you say you identify yourself?
Well, I do identify as a black man, but I also define myself as a college student, a son, and a brother.
You feel there are many other aspects to your cultural identity.
Definitely. I'm not defined by my skin color.
Are there people you feel who you aren't stereotyped by?
Yes, my friends and my family see me as myself.
These are relationships that you value.
Yes, very much. My family has always been an important part of my life.
You've always had a close relationship with your family.
Yes, growing up, in general, my family was important. As the youngest child with one brother and one sister, I relied mostly on my mother. My father was working in Taiwan for the earliest parts of my life, and I never built a good relationship with him. However, now that my parents are divorced, my family is even closer than before, and we rely on each other for a lot, excluding my father. Also, we consider my mother's side of the family to be more immediate family. We are also close with them and speak to them regularly. I consider my cousins as siblings. We are so close because we used to go to church every week and hang out afterwards as children.
Sounds like you have a close knit family. Do you think they have influenced how you view yourself?
Yes, they have taught me to be confident in who I am and not to let others or the media define who I am.
Your family showed you the importance of being yourself, regardless of who society tells you to be.
Yes, I feel that the media perpetrates the stereotype of my race. The media reinforces stereotypes instead of accurately portraying what makes up a culture.
You not only feel stereotyped by peers, but also by society as a whole.
Yes, I feel that there are certain images and behaviors that are associated with my race, and because of that, people expect me to act a certain way and to like certain things.
Have you always felt this way?
Yes and no. As a child, I was less aware of the stereotypes, but did experience some discrimination. I went to an elementary school that was predominantly white, so I was aware that people viewed me differently. As children, though, me and my classmates were able to still get along and play together. It was not until middle school and high school that I felt specifically not liked because of my race.
Did this keep you from attempting to make friends with children of other races?
No, I just did not associate or bother with the people who chose to judge me based on my skin tone. I have friends that are black, and I have friends that are white. I make friends based on similar characteristics and values, not on skin color.
What sort of values do you look for in a friend?
I really value empathy, honesty, kindness, and balance, but I also think it is important not to judge people on their actions. Many people are forced to make difficult decisions because of their surroundings.
It sounds like you have an open mind and value others with open minds.
Yes, I think people often jump to conclusions without really taking the time to get to know someone and their situation.
Do you think it is important to identify with a culture?
Yes, but I also think it is important to celebrate individuality within cultures. Celebrating your heritage is an important part of who you are, but it is not the only part of you. We are continually growing and changing, and all of our experiences are what make us who we are.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. That's all we have time for today. I hope you found this appointment helpful. Good afternoon. How are you today, Miss Poppy?
I'm doing pretty well.
I heard you were having some feelings that people were judging you based off of your race.
Yes, I have been feeling that people look at me a certain way based only off of my skin color.
That sounds aggravating.
It is. There is no way for anyone to know what kind of a person I am based off of my race.
More than just your race contribute to your character.
Yes, many things in my life have shaped who I am, who I have become today, and I would say my skin color has had the least influence out of all of them.
What are other cultures you identify with?
I identify with being Catholic, a college student, a daughter, a sister, and a friend.
Have these cultures always been a part of your life?
Some have, others have not. I have always been a daughter and a sister. Family was always very important while growing up. It became increasingly important when I was in high school because my father was diagnosed with a brain tumor. My family pulled together and relied on each other for support. Even after my father's passing, we still rely on each other. I was raised Catholic and attend a private Catholic school, but after coming to college, I have drifted from that religion. But the values that I was taught during school and Mass still influence my decisions today. I have been in college for 3 years now, and I would say that it is the culture I identify with most.
It sounds like your cultural identity has changed since you were living at home.
Yes, most definitely. Before coming to college, I had lived in an area that was predominantly white. But unlike some of my peers, I had extended interactions with people of other races. I believe that a person's culture is continuously changing, depending on where a person is and whom they are around. I don't think a person's culture is a stagnant thing.
Do you think it is important to celebrate a person's culture?
I do. Just because a person's cultural identity can change doesn't mean that past cultures are any less important. A person's culture can show who they are, who they've been, and who they will be.
Has there been a time in your life when you felt judged based on your race?
Yes, I have felt judgment from my peers and from teachers. People assume that because I am a white woman whose father was a doctor, that my family is well off and problem-free. People assume that the types of issues I deal with are issues that stem from having too much money or privilege. People also assume that I am at college because my family can pay for it, which is not true. I worked hard all throughout high school in order to receive the scholarship I have, and because of it, my family doesn't have to pay for my education or living expenses.
That would be frustrating to have people discredit your problems and your accomplishments.
It is. People watch shows like Gossip Girl and assume that every private schoolgirl's life is similar. For me, that show was just as much fiction as it was for a person who had grown up on Mars.
Do you feel that the media has influenced your stereotype?
Yes, I think that the media exaggerates all aspects of every culture. I don't even know if they represent the culture that I identify with. If I were to say I'm a private schoolgirl, then people assume I wore knee-high socks and did cocaine and Jaguars. If I say I'm white, people assume I don't have any friends of any other races and that I'm afraid of the inner city.
Have these stereotypes influenced you?
Yes, they have motivated me to work hard and show people that I'm not defined by my race. Even though I came from a well-off background, doesn't mean that I haven't worked hard or don't value other people who work hard.
Hard work sounds like an important value to you. What other values are important?
Commitment, being active and engaged in everything you do, enjoying time with family and friends whenever possible.
When meeting new people, do you ever find yourself judging them based on other races?
If I do, I try to correct myself because I know that people make wrong assumptions about me based off of my race, and I want to get to know a person before making any judgments on them.
Thank you, Miss Poppy.